come on. Oh, come on. Oh. Lucky. Lucky. Welcome back, everybody. We're just going to go with it. I hadn't intended on making this episode tonight, but, well, she needs no introduction. Christine is at it again. She is so mad. She is so mad. I've had the furnace on in here all day. It's above freezing outside, and it's still so cold in here I can see my breath. She is mad. But, well, we got lucky. I'll show you what was going on. So, it's time to start working over the steering bolster. I spent a good part of... I better just stop here before I wreck the whole shop. I spent the first part of today getting the casting cleaned up so we can really see what we're looking at. And we knew a lot of the radiator core bolt holes were in pretty tough shape because most of these broke off when we were disassembling it years and years ago. That's how rusty this was. And I've got an episode in the X231 playlist back quite a ways where Senior was digging broken bolts out of this tank. So what I did here to refresh my memory was ran a tap through all these holes, and you can see some of the holes have bolts in. Those are the ones that are nice and tight. The ones that don't have bolts in are the ones that are going to need an insert of some type. That was the atomic problem right there. That's it's going to be a task too. So we've got 14 of them that are good. We've got 6 holes that need some help, but I was working on this one, and the bolt actually wasn't feeling too bad in there, but then it went down about that far and it stuck. So I decided, you know, I'll run that tap through there one more time. Should not have done it. See, when Senior took some of these bolts out, we had to drill every one. So what happens is on a couple of those holes, if you're not perfectly lined up right on center and you drill down, you can get most of the old bolt out. But then when we chased it with a tap, there were still some slivers of old bolt threads that were off to one side in the hole. So we actually cut kind of new fresh threads into the cast a little bit off center, and shards of the bolt thread tips remained on the other side. And what happened was I was hanging on one that was starting to loosen up, and then it grabbed a hold of the tap. So I started really gently just trying to work it, throw some lube down there, work it, and I heard a crack. And then that's what came out. And oh, if any of you have ever broken a tap off in a hole, you know exactly why we got so lucky. All right, I was able to work the broken end out, and what I did first was, luckily, I found the piece of thread that had cammed in on the tap. It had come loose, and that's all it took. It bound on the tap, and it was enough to crack the end of it off. So luckily, I was able to get in there first with a pick, and I was able to see it, and it was just above the broken off part. I loosened it up, turned it sideways, and I got in there with a very small pliers. I was able to pull it out, and from that point on, luckily, the broken off piece was not bound, and I was able to work it out with small picks. So we've disaster averted. Well, cat's out of the bag now. We're working on X231 again, but that's where we are. So like I said, I didn't plan on making this episode, and I think we're at a good point just to stop for tonight before I make myself go backwards anymore. So plan on a X231 series episode. Can't even talk tonight, I'm just tired. We'll have X231 episodes going here again in the next couple of days for the public feed, and it's coming. We're going to sit here and work, and I'll have a little bit more of a coherent episode put together next time. So just wanted to share some of the YouTube drama with you all. Just glad I got that broken off bolt out. Not going to press my luck any further. We're going to shut this camera off. Same for the lights. Hope to see y'all back next time. I know you're mad at me.